The Microsoft 365 Insiders page released this blog post announcing the release of three new functions that use regular expressions to parse text easily. These three new functions are REGEXTEST, REGEXEXTRACT, and REGEXREPLACE. And it should be noted that these three functions are only available to beta channel users using these Windows and Mac versions. So it'll be a while until these functions become widely available for everyone to use. The first argument of REGEXTEST is the text that you are referencing, and the second argument is the pattern. These two arguments are mandatory, while the third argument, which checks for case sensitivity, is optional. So in this case, the first argument is 12 apples, and the second argument is the 0 to -9 enclosed in a bracket, which is telling Excel to match for all instances of numbers between 0 and 9. And if a match is found, then the function will return the Boolean value for true. Otherwise, the function will return the Boolean value for false. In cell C2, there are two matches for the numbers 1 and 2 here, and so the function will return true, while in cell C3, there are no numerical values, so we get false instead. The next big function, REGEXEXTRACT, will output the substring of text that match a given pattern. There are four arguments to REGEXEXTRACT: the text, pattern, return mode, and case sensitivity. The first two arguments of the function are mandatory, while the last two are optional. If we look at the example here in cell B2, it has 4 lines of text. Each line is followed by the first name, then space, then last name, and then the phone number in this format here. The first argument of this function, cell B2, references the text we're trying to parse and extract the data from. The second argument is the pattern given, which is telling Excel to find matches for all characters from lowercase and uppercase A to Z that appears one or more time, followed by space, and then from lowercase to uppercase A to Z that appears one or more time. The third argument, which is the return mode, has the value of 1 here, which means that we want to find instances of all match appearing instead of showing only the first match. And the fourth argument isn't shown, but by default is left as case sensitive. And if we look at this link here for more details to learn more, we get more details on what each of the arguments does. And if you look at the return mode, there's the option for entering 0, which returns the first string that matches the pattern. 1 we just went over returns all matches, and 2 returns the groups, or like the captured groups from the first match, as an array. So basically, this function will return the first and last name from each line in that cell as shown here. The last function related to a regular expression is REGEXREPLACE. The REGEXREPLACE function searches for a substring of a text that matches a given pattern and replaces that substring with a different text. There are 5 arguments to the REGEXREPLACE function, and they are text, pattern, replacement, occurrence, and case sensitivity. The first 3 are mandatory, while the last 2 arguments are optional. And this part is the same as before, where the text argument will be the cell reference containing the text that you're trying to replace, and the pattern argument is the text pattern that you're trying to match the cell reference to. The replacement argument is the substring that you are trying to replace the matches with. And if you want more details on what occurrence means, we can go to this page here, learn more, open this link up, and if we scroll down, we'll see that occurrence argument specifies which instance of the pattern you want to replace. So based on what I've read from the documentation for this function, my understanding is that if you have an occurrence value of 1, it'll replace the first match that appears on the left side of the text. An occurrence value of 2 will replace the second match from the left side of the text. And if you have a negative number instead, then the replacement will start from the right side of the text. If you have the default value of 0, then all matches returned will be replaced instead. And case sensitivity is also the same as before. By default, the match will be case sensitive, and if you wanted it to be case insensitive, then replace the value with 1. Let's go back to the other page with the example. And if we look at the example here is replacing all 3-digit numbers followed by a dash with 3 asterisk symbols followed by a dash. So the text reference is cell B2 here. The pattern is all numbers between 0 and 9 that appears 3 times followed by a dash. and the replacement is the 3 asterisk followed by dash, and the last two arguments are left as blank, so they'll have a default value of like all occurrence and be case sensitive. Not only are there plans for 3 new regex functions to be released, Microsoft also plans to integrate regex with the xlookup and xmatch functions. More details will be updated in the blog post in the future. With this announcement, I'm glad that Microsoft is finally taking action to release native functions related to regex. Regex is a super powerful engine, and I use it all the time in VBA for parsing and extracting data from text that follow a specific pattern. It sucked when I saw that there were no native regex functions to use in an Excel workbook. If I wanted to use my own regex function, then I would have to create a user-defined function in VBA and add it to an Excel add-in so I can use it in any workbook. But that can be a problem if you want to like share it with other people who don't have knowledge of VBA or can't use it for their work. And it can also be like a hassle to maintain as well. Since these functions will be in the beta channel soon, it'll probably be a long while until they're available for widespread use. In the meantime, we'll just have to wait for the updates to come. And if you're interested in making your own custom functions and using them in any workbook, then you should definitely check out this video I made before, where I talk about how you can use a combination of Lambda and VBA to do that. So if you guys found this video to be helpful, then please like and comment down below what else you'd want to see. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.